I'm back. Another video. Thought I'd talk about loneliness and um sometimes being never truly loved. Well, I guess not sometimes, but it's always been that lingering feeling. There's a kind of loneliness that isn't about being alone. It's not the empty room or the quiet phone or the plans that fell through. It's something deeper. It's that feeling that even when you're around people, your heart is still in a different place, untouched, unnoticed. The type of loneliness that creeps in during the in-between moments, the walk back to your car after saying goodbye, the nights when everyone else logs off, the mornings where you wake up and realize the only person who truly hears your thoughts is you. And I always have those thoughts at night, asking myself the question I never usually say out loud, and it's, what if I'm never truly loved? You know, not the surface level kind, not the temporary passing through kind, but more of the kind where someone sees me, all of me, and decides to stay. That fear doesn't shout either. It whispers. It whispers when I see everyone else finding their person. It whispers when someone I cared about didn't feel the same. It whispers when I feel like I'm never someone's first choice. Just a placeholder until something better comes along. And honestly, it makes you feel invisible. And I hate that so much. And it genuinely makes you question if there's something wrong with you. You know, it's something that people don't really say out loud, but somehow feel. Am I too quiet, too emotional, too complicated, too hidden, too me? And there's always that ache from feeling unseen. Not because you're trying to be the center of attention, but because you just want someone to understand the parts of you you've never been able to explain. But you watch people connect effortlessly all the time, and you wonder, why does it never happen like that for me? And you have to carry this weight of being unchosen, and it's almost indescribable the type of heartbreak that comes from not being chosen. Not because you weren't good enough, but because you were never the person someone pictured when they thought of love. And it lingers. It lingers. Teaches you to doubt yourself without even realizing it. Start measuring your worth and how others treat you, how quickly they leave, how rarely they check in, and you begin to feel replaceable. Like it wouldn't make a difference if you disappear from someone's life because they'd move on without a second thought. And then you develop this battle in your mind, and it's always ends up coming down to being the overthinking. The constant replaying of every conversation, every silence, every moment you felt too much or not enough. And loneliness isn't just the absence of people, it's the presence of thoughts that don't let you rest. It's the fear of never being truly loved, starts to feel like a shadow, not always visible, but always there. You try to outrun it, distract yourself, fill your time, stay busy, but it waits for the quiet. It waits for the moment you finally breathe. But there's always a deeper truth to something like that. And it's something I'm starting to realize slowly and imperfectly. Feeling unloved doesn't mean you are unlovable. Sometimes life just hasn't brought the right people to your chapter yet. And I still find myself not being able to reconcile with that, with being able to have the thought of somebody possibly coming into my life that will actually stick around. And sometimes you've only met people who weren't equipped to love you in the way you deserved. Sometimes you've had to become so independent that people forget you still need softness too. And I understand that some connections aren't meant to be with that forever. Some people were only meant to teach you, not stay with you. I've encountered that countless times. But you end up understanding that, maybe it's because you just haven't met that person yet. And I always have to remind myself that love isn't a race. It's not something you win by being early. Some of the deepest connections take time, real time, to find their way into your life. And maybe the kind of love you're meant for isn't fast or dramatic. Maybe it's gentle. Maybe it grows slowly, the way trust does. Maybe it's the kind of love that comes at the right moment, not the earliest one. And while you wait, or even if you're not waiting, there's something powerful in learning to understand yourself. And that's something I've still struggling with to this day. After, being on this planet for 24 years, I still can't figure out myself. And I struggle with it so badly. I genuinely struggle with trying to love myself. There are days when I look in that mirror and I'm just genuinely not proud of the person I'm becoming. And I'm not proud to look at myself in the mirror. And it definitely weighs you down most days. Even when you try to not have those thoughts, you still do. And the truth is, I mean, if someone hasn't loved you the way you needed, it doesn't mean you weren't worth that kind of love. It just means they weren't capable of giving it. You're not too much. You're not too broken. You're not too complicated. You're just a layered human being, and you're still growing. And I still hang on to the hope, even if it's quiet. I know hope feels fragile sometimes. It's easy to lose and hard to hold. But even on the days where it feels like no one sees you, there's still something in you that keeps going. Almost like, something that hasn't given up. And that part of you, the part that still hopes, is proof you're not done living or loving or being loved. So, if you've ever felt like you'll never be truly loved, if you've ever felt invisible, if you've ever wondered why it hasn't happened for you yet, please hear this. You are not behind. You are not unwanted. You are not unlovable. Love hasn't passed you by. And I think people forget that sometimes. I think people get so consumed by their thoughts that it clouds that. It just takes time. Same way the best things in life often do. And even if love arrives slowly, quietly, or unexpectedly, when it does, it will make every lonely night, every unanswered question, every moment of doubt make sense. Until then, you're allowed to grow. You're allowed to heal. You're allowed to hope. And you're allowed to be patient with yourself, especially on the days you feel most alone. And I still try to have hope, even on the days that I don't believe in hope. I still try. Because that's what drives people forward. That's what keeps us moving, keeps us together. Otherwise, where would we be without hope? I think that's the strongest thing anybody could ever have is hope. And it's tough. It's a tough road, especially waiting, playing the long waiting game. I think it has genuinely been about 5 years since I've actually talked to someone and actually been in a relationship. But at least I can say that I did get to experience that. I got to experience the love, and I got to experience what it was like to be loved at one point. While it was brief, it it still was beautiful while it lasted. And it was a great feeling to be able to feel. And if I could experience it again, I I think I would be overjoyed. I'm just hoping that I don't end up not being able to experience that again. The fear definitely creeps in all the time of, is it gonna be like this forever? And am I just gonna be stuck in this state where nobody will see the story in me, where they want to stick around and try to understand? And be their definition of what love should be, or is it just hopeless? Am I gonna be in a lonely state forever? And I hope that that's not the case. I think that's all I wanted to say. If you watch this far, I appreciate it.